I'm grateful because it means that you now have to have the conversation that happens in Black Pearl Sing, that you can't delude yourself. I voted for Obama, and therefore I'm exempt and exonerated from having to have a deeper discussion about how it is that we exist and coexist in this, Now that that's away, now you really have to examine what is it that you're bringing to the table? Who are we as Americans? Who are we as in terms of our own kind of ethnic identity? Who are we in terms of how we identify gender-wise? Who are we in terms of all of those multiplicity of conversations that can divide us? Now you have to figure out, how do we all live in the same room, exist in the same room, and have a conversation that's about inclusion?
And for me, the question was more so not how much things have changed since 2016, but how much things have changed since 1933. And again, not much. So I find that we're still having the same conversation. These conversations have come from the living room to out in public. These conversations have gone from in secret to, to out loud, but not much has changed since 1933 in the way that we relate to each other, in the way that we have these hierarchies based on skin color, and that's even within the African American community. There's hierarchies with skin color, or class. How much money you have, how much money is connected to you, what you have access to, women, and what we have endured and still endure, and what we are not willing to face about ourselves as women, and how we move, and how we manipulated some of the things that have happened to us to get to a place where now everything is about connecting to some kind of movement as opposed to having your own movement within yourself. What is your goal? What is, and so when I get into conversations where people want to pick sides, and I always say, you don't have to pick a side. There's part of you in each of these women. There's a part, and that's the conversation we need to be trying to have. How much do we have in common? Not about how much is different. So that was the thing that was eye-opening to me. I was like, wow, really? We still have an issue with being different after all this time.
And to be able to stand on a kind of terra firma and a kind of common ground about what we have in common is, first you have to almost acknowledge that there's a difference and applaud and celebrate the difference. That you are that and I am this, and that's okay. And there's something kind of edifying in the fact that we have a certain difference. And if you celebrate that difference, then you can approach celebrating what it is that you have in common. And I think that's kind of the journey of the play, which is why revisiting Black Pearl, as much as you said, taking it in 1933, what hasn't changed? A lot of the physical landscape has changed. Sure, some of the signs have come down, but the kind of psychological and psychic references that divide us and that we are kind of working through are still existent.